In 1929, a bacteriologist from St. Mary's Hospital in London, named Alexander Fleming, published a scientific paper on a chemical he named penicillin. Alexander Fleming was a doctor. He was also a Scottish scientist known for discovering penicillin. This simple discovery and the use of antibiotics have saved millions of lives, and Fleming, along with his colleagues Watt Florey and Ernestine, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1945 for developing methods to isolate and produce penicillin on large scale. On August 6, 1881, Alexander Fleming was born to Oak Fleming and Grace Stirling Martin at Loxfell Farm, Scotland. He initially received his education in Scotland, but eventually moved to London with his three brothers and sisters. In 1892, at the age of 11, he continued his secondary education at Regent Street Polytechnic. After graduating from there, he did not immediately enter medical school. Instead, he worked in a saving office for 4 years. When his uncle John died, Fleming inherited an equal share of his uncle's estate. Fleming used his share to pursue a medical education. In 1906, he graduated with distinction from St. Mary's Medical School at the University of London. Rather than becoming a doctor at the start of his career, Fleming joined the Territorial Army's London Scottish Regiment and became a sharpshooter. A captain in his regiment urged him to pursue a career in research rather than surgery. The captain introduced him to Sir Moulton Wright, an enthusiastic member and a pioneer in immunology and vaccine research, who invited Fleming to join his research team. Fleming spent his entire career in this research group. When World War I broke out, Fleming served as a captain in the Army Medical Corps. During this time, he witnessed many soldiers dying not from battles, wounds but from uncontrolled infection. At the time, the main methods to combat infection was using antiseptic, which often did more harm than good. In his journal, Fleming described anaerobic bacteria in the wounds that continue to thrive despite the use of antiseptics. Although initially his research was not accepted, Fleming persisted without losing heart. There is no easy path for anyone discovering something new. Fleming experienced many rejection and failures. In 1992, he discovered lysozyme, an enzyme with weak antibacterial properties. The story tells us that when Fleming had a goal, transferred some nasal mucus to a petri dish. Fleming's habits of not meticulously organizing his lab led him to a breakthrough. One day, he left the dish among a pile of papers and forgot about it for 2 weeks. During this time, many bacterial colonies grew. However, the area where the mucus had been inoculated remained sterile. Further investigation revealed that the mucus contained a substance that inhibited bacterial growth, which he named lysozyme. He found lysozyme in teeth, saliva, and egg whites. However, the enzyme was only effective against a few non-harmful bacteria. Nonetheless, this discovery laid the groundwork for Fleming's next significant breakthrough. In 1928, Fleming began a series of experiments involving common staphylococcal bacteria. He left an uncovered petri dish containing mucus near an open window, which became contaminated with mold spores. Fleming observed that the bacteria around the mold colonies died as a fine dish by the dissolved and clear agar around it. He isolated the mold and identified it as belonging to the genus Penicillium. He found that the mold was effective against all gram-positive pathogens, which caused disease like scarlet fever, pneumonia, gonorrhea, meningitis, and diphtheria. He released it was not the molecule, but the used products that killed bacteria. He named the substance penicillin. He remarked, "When I woke up just after dawn on September 28, 1928, I certainly didn't plan to revolutionize all medicine by discovering the world's first antibiotics or bacteria killers. But I suppose that's exactly what I did." Fleming published his findings on penicillin in the British Journal of Experimental Pathology in 1929. But the scientific community was not very enthusiastic. Fleming faced difficulties in producing penicillin on large scale. It wasn't until 1940, when he was considering retirement, that the scientific name what Florey and Ernestine approved him. They were in his discovery and eventually success in mass producing penicillin, which was used during World War II. Fleming received many honors of his achievement. In 1928, he became a professor of bacteriology at St. Mary's. He was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society in 1943 and knighted by King George VI in 1944. Fleming received about 30 honorary degrees, and in 1945, he won the most prestigious award, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. He was also appointed Emeritus Professor of Bacteriology at the University of London and awarded the Grand Cross Knight of the Order of Alfonso X the Wise in 1948. Time magazine named Fleming one of the 100 most important people of the 20th century. On March 11 in 1955, at the age 74, Fleming passed away due to coronary thrombosis at his home, and his ashes were in Place Cathedral, St. Paul.